fashion, music, wellness.
And don't forget sex.
Mostly sex.
If it's trending, they'll be talking about it. Trend Radio is right here.
And right now, I'm Anthony Vincent.
And I'm Elise.
And we always have something great to say.
Because it's us. So stay tuned.
You'll be glad you did. Good morning, Elise.
Good morning.
Good morning, Al. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank
Morning,
you.
Al.
Good morning,
And
Elise.
Do you guys realize that this is the Saturday before Thanksgiving?
I do.
I wasn't even paying attention.
I'm fasting.
You're fasting until then. Well, I just want to say something to everybody. I just want everybody to realize, how thankful and how lucky we all are to be here and to be having such wonderful people and everything that we have.
We're having a brisket for Thanksgiving.
Are you? Mm-hmm. Am I making it?
I hope so.
You are now.
Okay. I make a good brisket.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
And she doesn't normally cook.
Yes, I do.
Oh, yes.
Well, at least once a week.
I cook more than that. How would you look so jolly? No, I'm kidding. That was a joke. I'm
That
the
was a
jolly
good one.
Wait. I'm the jolly looking one
I think
these
she
days.
was referring to my waistline,
No, I'm not.
not my happiness.
Okay, let me just tell you something.
You do that.
He has a great waistline.
Easy for you to say.
Nothing goes to waste.
And I happen to know that Elise cooks because she's one half of the Aphrodisiac chefs.
That's right. She is.
Plug for me.
You're getting brisket.
That's
Don't you
why
worry
we
about
love
a
you.
thing.
That's
All
right.
right.
You're getting a brisket too.
That's funny.
Very recently, we told you about a new study that revealed that this particular sex position is one of the most popular. Well, now it's one of the most dangerous sex positions.
Dangerous?
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger, Will Robinson.
Oh my gosh. And what are you talking about? I remember the most popular as being doggy style.
That's right.
So how's it dangerous?
Well.
Is there a real dog involved?
Ew.
Exactly. I can't understand how it can be dangerous.
Well, due to the vulnerability situation that it puts your manhood in.
Huh? I'm confused here.
Okay. Thereby, it makes it easy for you to lose yourself in the moment and totally snap your penis in half.
Huh?
Yep.
I've never. Are you kidding me?
Well, okay. If you take a wrong turn, unless you're really careful,
Oh my gosh.
what happens, and I don't remember the name of what it is, but this is a very common thing. What happens, it doesn't actually snap in half, but it...
Oh, I'm hoping not, because that could be really bad, and that's a mood killer.
Yes, it is. That's right. And it seems as though there's all kinds of penis-related news that so much of it that a leading osteopath says that the number of middle-aged men really have injured their junk and various other body parts during sex.
During sex?
That's right.
Really?
Yeah, the number has quadrupled in the past 5 years.
Because of doggy style.
Yes, and
Oy.
vigorous sex.
Oh my gosh.
80% of the non-sports related cases are caused by sex stunts. These sex stunts go wrong, and they include injuries like broken wrists, fractured ankles, and even hernias.
Really?
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? I'll bet you anything. It has a lot to do with Viagra.
Well, yeah, it makes these guys
no,
really...
seriously, I'm going to hypothesize that this spike is due to the fact that more men, and I say this with love, more men are experimenting with kinky sex and getting a little freaky, okay? And it's not that I say that's a bad thing, but you have to be careful about coordination. Okay?
Yeah, a lot of guys are uncoordinated.
Sometimes you're not very coordinated, okay?
Sounds like you know what we're talking about, Al.
Okay, listen. There's a study that reveals that the main cause of these quote-unquote unfortunate injuries happen in the shower. Now, this I understand. Let's face it, okay? It's slippery, and some guys who've lost some of their nimble agility attempt to have a little bit of wet and wild fun with their partners, and boom, there's a problem.
Yeah, but at least these men are being honest about the cause of their injuries, and not just saying something like, "Oh yeah, I was fixing the shingles on the roof. I fell. I lost my balance."
Okay, listen. I suspect there's a new willingness to admit this cause rather than, the guy simply lying, like do it yourself, whatever. Honestly, honesty. I was saying, honestly, honesty can make the difference because it depends on how you're being treated. You're going to be treated for like 2 or 3 weeks with something like this. If you lie, you're going to be treated really once or twice. And that's not going to resolve the situation or your condition.
What's interesting? I just thought of this when you were talking about the shower guy losing his agility there.
It happens.
There's a show on HBO called Girls.
I know you love that.
I love that show. I think those characters are just so funny.
They are.
Well, one of the characters, mother and father, were in the shower and they were having sex in the shower. And
did somebody fall?
Yeah, the guy fell.
Ay, ay, ay.
In the middle. The ambulance came.
Ay,
it was hysterical. And then when he had to explain how what happened, it was very funny. And that kind of reminded me about that. And people might find it hard to be open about their private lives like this guy was, but for doctors, there's really no difference between an ankle that you've injured over playing some baseball or an ankle that you've injured in the bedroom. They don't care.
Yeah. For a doctor, just having an understanding of how you did this, it gives them much better understanding on how to treat it. And then what the proper rehab is. That's really important. It's only when there's a full appreciation of the situation that a remedy can be found, especially in a particularly complex case such as this.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind that this 80% study is based on patients only from one clinic. But still, be careful if you're having shower sex.
Yes, showers are wet, and wet surfaces can be slippery.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. So, with all of this acrobatic sex and shower sex on, it could be toned down a little bit because because scientists really have found the golden trio of sex moves that make women orgasm.
Really?
And it's not necessarily acrobatic.
Okay.
Now, as someone who's probably slept with a bunch of women before, you already know, and I'm talking about our listeners. Not me.
I was waiting for that.
You probably already know that getting a woman to climax really isn't the easiest task in the world. In fact, it's really a tough job, even for the most seasoned Casanovas. They also need a few pointers every now and then.
Because everybody is different.
That's right.
But now, thanks to some very dedicated researchers, we know exactly what pointers to give because we finally found out precisely what trifecta of sex moves get her there every single time. Are you ready for this?
Oh, yeah. I am not the only one who wants to know.
Oh, you are probably one of the only... No, I'm kidding. I know. Everybody needs to know this. But according to a massive new study of over 50,000 participants conducted by researchers from Chapman University, Indiana University, and the Kinsey Institute, it would appear as though getting a woman to orgasm is actually super duper simple.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's as easy as following these 3 simple instructions. Do you want to know what they are?
Yeah.
Okay. What do we always say? Kiss her deeply and passionately. Be patient. And the kind of kisses that last forever, well, do them. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? You taking notes?
Yes.
All right. Now, we talk about this also. Oral sex, cunnilinguins, look it up. It's like what do you call it?
It's like a French kiss.
Like a French kiss? Okay, whatever. And use your hands. Be gentle. Be passionate. Be patient. Researchers call the winning combo of these three things, in addition to intercourse, of course, the golden trio. It essentially guarantees an orgasm for her and some serious satisfaction for you. Now, like I always say, what do I always call the perfect menage a trois?
Attention, affection, and appreciation.
So it's perfect. Kiss her, oral sex, and use your hands. Those are the things. Attention, affection, and appreciation.
It's always attention. You know, and it's funny that you mention attention because I did a little research. We're going to talk a little bit later on about attention. But this study found that when women have sex, they only orgasm about 65% of the time. But if you employ the golden trio tactic, you, my friend, can bring that sad 65% all the way up to 100%. What do they call 100%? 100. Now, well, I'll acknowledge that the fact that some women, find it, difficult to orgasm.
Well, it is sometimes.
Yeah, there are ways to help her along like a pro, including using the golden trio.
Listen, guys, it is not that difficult to follow instructions. Okay, especially when you're going to get something great out of it.
Guys don't even read instructions. They don't follow instructions.
Well, read this. Do this. Hey, you know what, guys? I'm going to say something. I have a little something special for you guys out there because it's important that you read. So I want you to read this. First of all, you email us at trendradio920@gmail.com, and I will send you a gift certificate for you to read, okay, which will include a $25 gift certificate for your hair and a $25 extra add-on for you to even come again. So you're going to get a $50 gift certificate from Anthony Vincent Salon and instructions. Got it?
Good. You know, about 30% of men actually think that intercourse is the best way for women to have an orgasm.
Nope.
Nope. And that's the sort of tragic figure because it really could not be more incorrect.
That is true.
And that's not us saying that. That is Dr. Elizabeth Lloyd, the co-author of this study.
And me. I'm saying it too.
So use this golden trio.
Do it.
And you know, when you're looking for somebody, there are little clues that I like to look for that she's gonna be amazing in bed. So guys,
okay.
keep this in mind for your next first date. And the questions you ask yourself on these first dates is she going to be boring and not very good? Or is she just going to be okay? Or is she a total freak?
Freaky.
Well, the most foolproof way is to find out actually how sex is going to be with her before it happens, is to actually have sex with her. But there are certain very subtle non-sexual clues that you can look out for that indicate if she's going to be a complete goddess in the sack.
Well, I am curious about what these things are.
Well, the folks over at Cosmopolitan held a survey titled "What Non-Sexual Skills is a Pretty Good Indicator of Sexual Skills?"
Okay.
Alrighty. Now, that's where people weighed in on everyday skills and behaviors that they think hint that someone is going to be on fire in bed. But remember, this was a survey, not a scientific study. So, Elise, do you want to start us off?
Okay, sure. Well, if you think about it, I imagine that somebody who is flexible would definitely be good in bed. So I guess somebody who does yoga can hold positions for a while and is definitely in control of their breathing, I imagine.
Yeah, I did yoga. I found that I wasn't very flexible, but the way that I was able to flex relaxed me very, very much.
I have to say, that is one thing that I absolutely do love. I love yoga. I don't do a lot of exercise, as you can tell, but I definitely do yoga. And I am pretty flexible when it comes to certain things because I do stretch.
Right, and I think if you're stretching and getting relaxed, I think that by itself would make you
absolutely.
better lover.
I would also think, another way that you can tell that somebody is going to be, I guess, I don't want to call it good in bed, if you will, but someone who can pet an animal in a way that is pleasing to the animal. It shows that they're in tune with needs and desires of others, and that they have an emotional ability to make somebody feel good.
Oh, sure. I mean, I can tell the type of person a person is by the way they treat animals. Because if you see that they're kind and loving and almost, baby the animal in a childlike way, you know that they're a certain type of person opposed to someone who pushes or kicks the animal out of the way.
Right. Another thing that's really important, and I talk to my girlfriends about this.
Having a big one?
No. Have a good sense of humor.
That's what I'm talking about, having a big sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess my mind was in the gutter there.
Oh,
gutter.
The gutter, girl.
Okay, if you have the ability to laugh at yourself, that is a pretty good indicator of somebody who's going to be good in bed. Absolutely. Yeah, playful. Be playful. Yeah, don't put so much pressure and don't be so serious. It doesn't go very far.
Every gal that I must have ever been with had a great sense of humor, because every time we wound up in the bedroom and I took my clothes off, they always laughed. Always.
Frankly, oh boy, if you can speak frankly, and I say this frankly, without blushing, speak frankly about sex, and I'm talking about frankly here, without getting self-conscious, without, having a blush attack, without freaking. That is amazing.
That's right. How will you ever get your needs met or your partner's needs,
right? How are you going to meet your partner's needs?
Yeah, if you can't even talk about what those needs are.
Exactly. You must be able to, you have to.
Yeah.
You know what I heard, but I'm not 100% true. I'm not 100% sure if this is true.
Okay.
I heard that girls who ride horses are very good under the sheets, in between the sheets.
This is really true. It really is. When I was in my 30s, I had some friends at Showplace Farms, and we'd hang out there, and I met some very, very nice ladies there. And, some of them were a little closer than others. And, yeah, it's true.
I have something that I have to just say. So if you're out taking a walk and it's a very, very hot day and you're eating an ice cream cone with your girl and she doesn't let it drip, that shows something, I think.
Oh, that is so inappropriate. So inappropriate.
Okay.
Didn't somebody once invent an ice cream glove?
I never heard of an ice cream glove.
It's an ice cream glove, and he actually pitched this to Donald Trump.
Really?
Yes, because in the summertime, you get ice cream, it drips all over your hand. So he invented the ice cream glove.
Are you serious?
I'm very, very serious.
Okay.
And I know who it was. I don't know his complete name. No, he's a comedian.
He's a comedian.
His name was Sasha. He had a show where everybody...
I know who you're talking about. Sacha Baron something or other.
That's the one.
I can't think of his last name. Okay.
He had a character...
Sacha Baron Cohen?
Cohen.
Sounds right.
Yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen.
He had a character, and he used this character, and everybody really believed that's who he was.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
Okay. I imagine that somebody who has empathy,
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know how you meet people sometimes and they're really good at being able to tell how you're feeling?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if they know how you're feeling, I guarantee they're also going to be able to make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's very important.
Yeah,
when
I
you're
would
together.
think with the empathy that they know how to make you feel good in bed.
Absolutely.
And I'm not talking about physically, I'm talking about emotionally.
Okay, so you know what? We were at a party, and I remember this. You were there. We were there together. We were at one of the events, and there were a few girls, and they were dancing around, and they were pretty explicit. And we were talking about how we thought those girls were probably going to be very good, with their guys.
Oh, yeah. By the way,
with
they
their
were
partners.
dancing.
Yeah, they were. By the way, they were dancing.
Oh, that's right. And I would think if they have those dance moves, they know how to move in bed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't necessarily believe this because, dancers are performers and they...
Well, we're talking professional dancers. They're exotic dancers. They're doing it for money. They're working. So you don't necessarily know. I was just talking about these guests that were at the party. They were just dancing explicitly.
Okay.
Remember that?
That's
I
right.
don't know if you actually remember. But
Yeah, I do.
We were having a conversation.
In fact, I think I even said the opposite because they looked like they were having sex on the dance floor. And I said, I'll bet you that one particular girl is lousy in bed because she's all about herself. Look, she's all showing off, dancing that way, and probably a dud in the sack.
Ooh.
That was just my
calling
feeling.
her a dud.
She's
Okay.
yeah.
So let me ask you this. What do you think about communication?
Oh,
Yeah.
come on. That is what we are about.
Nothing beats it when a person can tell you what they want or how they feel.
That's right. And that's right,
know?
Tatum. Now tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
What if a girl has a tongue piercing?
Well, I'm not sure because I don't particularly have one. I don't have one, and I'm not sure what that would necessarily do. I imagine it would be okay unless the guy has some piercings, and then you can get stuck, and that could create an issue.
It could. Typically what I always thought was that a tongue piercing is, supposedly to give an extra pleasure during...
I don't think so. You know what? We'll ask Mike, our piercer.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, we'll do that.
Now, if you can, another thing I think, if you can hold the attention of a group of friends or tell a captivating story, be charismatic, communicate with your eyes, or just listen very well.
That's right.
It's like a hidden language that you understand me and what I want. And what I want from you and want for me. And if it's the same in bed, you can pretty much count on you're going to have a good time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, cooking can be very sensual.
Very sensual.
And I think it's a good indicator of being sensual in general because, a person who generally loves food.
Exactly. Will be creative and sensitive to the desires of their partner, I think, and want to bring them pleasure.
That's right. What I find
They're
is
going to want
to do the dishes. Yes. And what I've learned recently is that when you cook for someone, you're expressing love and affection for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what our new TV show is all about, Elise.
Exactly.
That's
Cooking with love.
That's right. The Aphrodisiac Chefs.
Yeah. Our food makes you a better lover.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so tune in to us.
Every Sunday, 7:30 p.m. on PrincetonTV.org or anytime on our new YouTube channel.
The Aphrodisiac Chefs. Absolutely. And speaking of TV, we'll be back right after this moment with a surprise.
We'd like to thank Artis, a place to live and grow for seniors with cognitive disorders, where empowerment, pride, and fulfillment define memory care. We are Anthony, Vincent, and Elise, together, Trend Radio, where we talk about love, lust, romance, and sex.
Mostly sex. Mm-hmm. So, Anthony, do you know how much we've been talking about our TV show and how much we love it?
Oh, yeah. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah. Well, we have the best guest right now.
Who's that?
Well, I'm just going to make you wait for it for a minute. But do you know how, Princeton Community Television has
Yeah.
so many wonderful people working there and providing so many wonderful outlets for, shows and just different education and just different wonderful things, right?
Yeah. Since I found out about Princeton TV, I've been watching it a lot. I'm learning a lot of stuff.
I know, and it's awesome.
There's a lot of good information there.
Including our show, the Aphrodisiac Chefs.
The Aphrodisiac
But
Chefs.
beyond that, it's the people within Princeton Television that make it so fabulous. And we personally think, and I know I can speak for you when I say this,
You usually do.
one of the best people there is Sharon, the person who we're working with. And she's our guest, and she's here right now. And look
she's
how great she is.
Oh, you perfect timing. She's coming in the door now.
With her
Hello.
purple hair.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello, thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure.
Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming so much.
Yeah, we love you, and I love that our lips match today. We both have red lips.
We do.
Yeah.
So Sharon is our director of our new TV show, The
Yes,
Aphrodisiac
she
Chefs.
is.
But her official title is Operations Manager of Princeton TV. And let me tell you, she rules with an iron fist covered
yeah.
in a velvet glove.
I love velvet.
Me too.
Sharon, you are so creative, and you have made our show so interesting and so fun. Tell us a little bit about how you got started, what you do, how you do it, and how you wound up at Princeton TV.
Well, I spent I spent a lot of time being an administrative assistant, and I thought that everybody was supposed to have a raging headache at the end of the day.
Oh, because you did?
Because it just didn't fit my personality. But I went back to school for graphic art, but I could never quite break in. They were like, "Oh, we'll have her be a secretary and a graphic, and she'll do all that stuff." And I kept getting laid off. And the last time I got laid off, I said, "Enough. This is just life telling me this is not the profession for me." So I made a little video for a friend of mine, and it was a disaster. But one of the people that I interviewed happened to be in video, a video producer, owned his own studio. So he was teaching a class at Princeton Community Television, a documentary class, and asked me to participate. So I did. And I found Princeton TV, and I was like, this is a really cool place. It kind of has an underground New York vibe.
Yes, the place is very cool.
Grassroots.
Very cool.
You have to take the bull by the horns there. Like, people aren't going to hold your hand. But if you are a do-it-yourselfer, that place is golden. For a membership of $25, you get equipment to borrow, not rent, but borrow. If you're a professional, it is for rent, but it's still at a price that you can't beat. You can come in and do television shows. You can make a documentary, and Princeton TV provides the equipment and the knowledge for you to do that.
And the people. And that's what I found so amazing. The interns that work there, learning, they want to be there. Now, true, for us, they want to, eat, and we do feed them. But
We feed everybody.
yes, we do. But I think it's amazing that they really want to be there. They want to learn, and they want to do so much. So I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love what you do as well.
Well, thank you. I'm obsessed with the what's known as the opening titles or opening sequence.
Oh, we love that.
We absolutely love that. We think that's fantastic.
They've become little stories in and of themselves in the past 5 or 10 years as the software has become more robust. So I study them. I study the major players in the industry. I know who they are. I'm a little bit of a geek when it comes to opening titles.
Thank God, because look what you did for us.
That was based off of I have to admit that I did steal it. I stole the idea from
Love.
the
Netflix.
from the Netflix series called Love.
Yes, love, but that was perfect. And the thing is that You did borrow a few things, and that's fine, but you created something with it, making it for us, and that was great. And you made it ours, and that was awesome.
And
we
what
love
you
it.
did with the music, putting the music together with the graphics, we just felt was
You
just.
should have seen us the night that we were going over the song, the music choices that you sent. And, the one that we ended up having, the two of us were dancing to.
Yes,
We were
yes.
so happy with it.
We were listening and we were trying to dance to all the
All of
music.
them. And that one was the best one. We loved
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
The first moment we heard it.
It's a
It was-
BAM song. It's just BAM, do 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 do,
It
BAM,
was just
do
great.
do do do, BAM, do 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 do.
Yes, yes.
Da da da.
It was so
Very,
good.
very cool. By the
loved
way, Sharon is a rock guitarist and singer.
I was going to just say that. I was going to say that after she was done talking, but you just jumped on in again.
Well, that's what we do to each other here, and you. Not only in the studio are you cool, but you're cool on stage, with the purple hair and the little rectangular
and
glasses.
you sound
the,
good, too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, she sings well.
That's my favorite thing to do in the whole world.
Be on stage and perform.
Yeah, I really like it. I really like singing. I really like it much more than playing guitar, believe it or not. Guitar was just like the vehicle to sing. But
Well, you don't necessarily have to play the guitar. You have other people that could play the guitar for you. You can just stand there and look cool and sing.
I could if yeah.
If you got another guitar player.
Yeah, we actually did get a guitar player, and he's out already. He left already, but that happens. That
Okay,
happens
but
all the
eventually you'll get another one, and then
Yes.
you won't play, and you'll just sing.
time. I don't know. We'll see about that. We'll see about that.
You look pretty cool with the guitar, though.
Thank you.
When Elise and I came into the studio and we pitched our idea, there was about 5 people there that were all sitting around the coffee table talking about it, and 3 of them walked out. What was it that made you stay to listen to what we wanted to do with our cooking show?
Well, you look different from the average person that you normally walks in. You have a really full beard and black fingernail, and I think you have a skull ring. Is that right?
Yeah, a bunch of skull jewelry.
Yeah, and most of the people who walk in look like professionals, and Elise had the black hair and the red lips, and I'm like, oh, they seem like fellow artists. And you were pitching something different. You're pitching something more visual than, not that we have fantastic shows on Princeton TV, and
Yes, you do.
one of the shows that I particularly like, or I think is a niche show that I think serves the community well, is a new show about autism. It's a resource for families with individuals dealing with autism, and that's a perfect show for a talk show. But you had more visual, and that just happens to be how I interpret life. I interpret life visually. So you came in, you visually looked different. You had something to offer that I felt I could add something to, because it was more visual than our average show.
Ah, okay.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
We are
Thank you.
certainly glad that you saw that in us, because we are so happy with you doing everything that you
Thank
do.
you. It's a love fest.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
And you typically don't do for the station what you're doing for us. Is that correct? With the graphics and the music and the camera and all of that.
I do go a little above and beyond for you guys. That's for sure.
That's because we're special.
Yeah. But I enjoy, it's not, when it comes to those opening credits, and I really enjoy it. So I don't mind redoing things, or like if things aren't working, getting them just right, because I really enjoy working in that software so much.
Oh, that's awesome.
so-
Well, it really shows that you enjoy what you do, because you do it well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
We also wanted to just talk a little bit about George and say hello to him, of course.
Yes.
And we think he's awesome.
Yeah, we really
Yeah,
like George.
He really goes above and beyond for us with our scheduling.
Yes, he really
So I
helps
just
us out
wanted
a
to
lot.
say thank you to George for that.
Yeah, I've worked with George for 11 years now, and I have to say that he really embodies what a public access station is all about, to the point where he's kind of like this Zen master, where he doesn't like value one. If you ask his opinion of a show, he doesn't even want to give it because he doesn't want any one show to be valued more than the other. So he's kind of like this like Zen master. Of
I
the
like that about
station.
him, though.
Yeah, I thought he didn't like
did
us
too.
when I first met him. But,
No, I knew
but
he
that's-
liked. I knew.
Well, I knew he liked
us.
you. He liked you. Everybody likes you.
Yeah,
I'm
just
the troubled
kind.
one in the group.
I'm just kind. But no, everybody likes you too. You have charisma.
Yeah, you do have charisma.
He does.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. You know what? If we keep on doing that, then he won't be able to walk through the door on our way out. Right? I always tell him to check the ego. Check it.
Check it at the door.
Check it. Just make sure it's not growing.
Why are you looking embarrassed? You look embarrassed about this.
I'm actually, people don't believe this. I'm very, very shy.
Oh, so praise makes you shy?
Yes, it
Really?
does. Yes. It does.
I'll help me.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
See, these people are awful to me. I'm actually very, very humble, and I am shy. That, people don't see that because I
think
know
Elise is
you.
seeing that.
In my element, I am probably a little more obnoxious than normally. But in a setting where I don't know people, I will actually blend into the wall.
Such an introvert. No,
Elise is negating you in the back.
She's always doing something to me. It's awful the way she treats me. It's
No, you are just being silly right now.
well, yeah. She
Stop
starts
that.
off every show with an argument, and she hollers at me,
Never.
and she tells me how to act and how not to act, and
Never happened.
and I just
Yeah, Al's
realized.
just actually saying no right now, too.
no, it's not that way.
Well, let me tell you what your show's done for me.
Okay.
On a Saturday night, sometimes I cook for friends, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what should I make for dessert? And I usually end up making one of your desserts because they're quick and
Really?
easy.
And fun and sexy.
Yeah, well, the whipped cream. So I know you're big on the whipped cream,
Yes.
Creamy cream.
the creamy cream. So I have been. You guys use a hand mixer, but I googled like, will an immersion blender work?
It does, yeah.
and it works like fantastic. So now I'm like constantly making whipped cream and constantly, yeah.
And you love the deconstructed cherry pie.
I did. That was so easy. That was so easy. I
Yeah.
kept saying over and over again to my guests, like, "Can you believe this took me less than 5 minutes? Less than 5
And
minutes."
it's delicious, right?
Yeah.
And the sex and s'mores.
Yeah.
That's a good one, too.
And when you do it in front of your guests, they actually will watch you do it, and you can explain what you're doing. And we actually had guests, a few weeks ago, and I made our own ambrosia, which is a little bit different than your average ambrosia. And we must have had about 8 or 10 people over at the house, and everybody was sitting around the kitchen watching me and asking questions as we were putting together our own ambrosia with Elise and I's special creamy cream recipe.
Well, I'm glad everybody liked it.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. Let me turn the tables on you
Oh,
guys a
here we
little bit. How did you come up with the concept of having a cooking show about? I don't think we've mentioned what it's about.
No,
right?
we haven't.
We haven't.
Tell us what it's about.
It's the aphrodisiac chefs.
Elise, do you want to?
I'll tell you something. How when it started actually for us was while I was going through chemotherapy. I had breast cancer. I don't know if I ever told you that.
You did.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I knew
So
that.
while I was going through chemotherapy, we started eating very, very differently. I couldn't tolerate a lot of food. And a lot of the food that we started eating, we started realizing makes you feel better. And that's the point. It makes you feel a certain kind of way. It's very colorful. It's very intoxicating. It has a lot of wonderful ingredients. And as we started doing research on it, we started realizing they're aphrodisiac foods. Now, Anthony used to make fun of me because I would set up all of the food in front, and he'd say that I was snacking and I was eating chocolate and candy and crackers and popcorn and
Right
potato
here on the
chips.
radio show. It looked
And-
like a buffet table
And
here.
I usually do that. This morning we were running a little bit late, so everything's not set up. So if you're hungry before you leave, I'll have something for you.
Okay.
But that's, we were talking about that, and we started doing a lot of mentions about that on our radio show, about what we were eating and what we were doing and how we were cooking and how it was making us feel.
We talked a lot about aphrodisiac food.
And we started discussing that. And then, we both cook that way at home. And then we were just saying, hey, wouldn't it be something if? And we met George a while ago, actually.
We met him at a
At
business card.
a business. It was in Flemington, actually.
Yeah.
Hunterton County, something for. It was when we had Stephen and Kevin on our show.
It was a business card exchange.
Yeah,
you know.
it was, and we met George a while ago, Princeton Television, and so Anthony and I were just, discussing it. Wouldn't that be something? And so we came in, and the rest is
And
history.
aphrodisiac cooking is very much like if you are gluten-free. People think, oh, if I eat oysters, boy, I'm going to be very amorous, and it's not actually that way. It's if you have an intolerance to gluten, then you never eat food with gluten in it. It's the same with aphrodisiac cooking. You follow a style of cooking.
If you have an intolerance to sex, you just avoid it.
Yeah, correct.
So the interesting thing,
Sorry.
no, that was cute, but the interesting thing about that is when you cook a certain way and you eat a certain way, you feel a certain way. And so it kind of opens up your mindset to different things. And that's what really it's about, what it does for your brain.
And your body. There are many foods that will help blood flow, and proper blood flow to certain areas increase your libido. But also,
That's how
it's
that
not
happens.
only blood flow, it's bloat. If you're bloated,
You're not going to feel like,
you're not going to feel like having sex with anyone.
And it's also very important that you feel good.
About yourself.
Exactly. And that happens between your ears as well.
That's right.
So,
It also encompasses inflammation.
exactly.
There are foods that fight inflammation, because if you have inflammation in your body, again, it does affect your libido. And we want to know more about.
And Princeton
And
Community
Princeton.
Television.
Yes.
What would you like to know?
How long you've been with this station? 11 years now.
11 years,
That's
going on
great.
12.
So you are really enjoying it.
I love it.
And we've met some really interesting people.
Absolutely.
And it seems as though everyone there, including some of the other TV hosts, very, very warm, very, very friendly.
Yes. Yeah, it attracts that kind of person.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That makes it easy to work with, too.
And a lot of the people we've met have a certain cool factor to them. Even for being Princeton, where we thought that things might be a little stuffy, we haven't found that at all.
That's true. Well, I think that leadership comes from the top down, and I think that George running the station has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He really is. And he's warm.
And the guy with the ponytail.
Ponytail. Markian. My
Markian.
coworker.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Markian's awesome.
I could never remember.
And I love
that name, Markian.
every person that works there. I love every intern, but I have a special feeling in my heart for Tatiana. She was on our show when we first started 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
As a little girl. And so to see her there and flourishing the way she is, that's amazing too.
Yeah. She has a
In
bright
between
future.
school,
Yep.
that kind of thing. And her mom, she's just awesome. She's
Yeah.
awesome. We love them.
Yeah, they're a fixture at Princeton TV, and it wouldn't be the same without them.
Oh, not at all. Yeah, no, everybody there is so fantastic.
We found that when we got there and we started meeting different people, like Tatiana and like yourself, we felt as though this is we were meant to be here.
I'm glad you felt that. I'm glad that we created that kind of welcoming environment. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, I'll tell you, this conversation is just not long enough. Seriously, we need to have you back again so we can even learn more. We know that you are very busy and have to leave. We understand that, but we just need to have you back again. Okay?
All right. We'll talk more about the show. We'll have like a whole rhythm worked out.
Rhythm.
Rhythm, yeah.
It's all about the rhythm.
You'll bring your guitar.
Oh yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, yeah.
Why don't you do
I'll
that?
bring my guitar, and Elise
Yeah.
always has her bongos with her.
All right. Breakfast in America.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
We'll have breakfast in America.
Love it.
What is breakfast in America?
Take a look at my girlfriend. She's the only one I've got. Da-da-da. Not much of a girlfriend. Never seem to get a lot.
And you'll sing next time with the guitar, too.
Yep.
Okay.
I think I like that song.
It's-
I never
it's
heard it
good.
before.
I love that song.
Oh, Supertramp.
I never
please.
heard it.
Yes,
I
you
love
have.
Take a look at my girlfriend. She's the only one I got. Not much of a girlfriend, but never seem to get along.
I must be a bad singer if you don't recognize that song.
No, I don't.
Everybody in
America and
Knows
beyond knows
yeah,
that.
everybody 40 up knows that song.
That's the problem. I'm not 40 yet. That's not true. I just turned 40 recently.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you so much
Thank you.
for having me on. I can't wait to come back and sing Breakfast in America.
We're looking forward to it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Or
Sam.
have breakfast in America.
We're going to take a quick break, and Trend Radio continues right after this on 920 The Jersey.
We'd like to thank Artis, 60 years experience in the field of senior living care, focusing on helping each resident find meaning and joy every day with dignity.
We are Anthony, Vincent, and Elise, together, Trend Radio, where we talk about love, lust, romance, and sex.
Mostly sex.
You know, in a recent study published in the Archives of Sexual Behavior, it has been discovered that the size of your face can predict your libido.
What?
Yep. The study was conducted by researchers at the Nipissing University in Canada.
Nipissing?
Nipissing? Or
Nipissing.
Is it Nip-issing? Or you call it tomato, I call it tomato, you call it Nipissing, I
Love
call it
apples.
Nipissing. So
Love apples. Tomatoes are love apples. Did you know that?
well, this school in Canada, whatever you would like to call it,
Okay.
analyzed the faces and the sex drives of over 500 people and found that those who had a higher face width to height ratio, that's the FWHR, they were super horny. Whereas those with a lower face width to height ratio were not as horny.
That's weird.
Right. So,
Okay, so men and women with shorter, wider faces tend to be more sexually motivated.
that's right.
They have a stronger sex drive
Right. Then those.
than those with smaller
Yeah.
with faces of other I don't get it.
So it means, you know, if you
A wide-faced
a
person.
wide face as opposed to a long face.
Okay.
All right. And
So, wait a second though. So if you have a higher sex drive,
You're-
they say that you're more likely to cheat. Did you know that?
yes,
So
that is true.
So this is what this says.
That's right. Right, because the higher your sex drive, the more you need someone to do it with all the time.
Okay, but okay.
So if your partner is not as sexually motivated as you are, they will just, the person with the white face will just will just hop over to the next available person
Okay,
to
this
get their
can't
sexual.
be for everybody. This just can't be. But okay, let's go with the study. Okay.
Okay. The researchers attributed the difference in facial proportion variations because of testosterone levels during particular development periods, like puberty.
Okay.
And you know that the hormones play a role in forming adult sexual attitudes and desires.
Okay, so like basically, in other words, hormones that determine our libidos also shape our faces.
That's correct.
Oh, so it's like proportional in a way.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so the more horny hormones you have, the wider your face is? Is that what you're saying?
pretty much.
Ay, ay, ay. That is hilarious. Okay. As with all scientific studies, take the findings with a grain of salt. Okay? They do not apply to everyone. For instance, if your sex drive is through the roof and you have a narrow or slim face, these findings obviously don't apply to you. And if you have a wide face and a weak libido,
Massive face.
and a weak libido,
Strong like bull.
let's face it, everyone is different,
Yeah.
right?
There's a book out I think that I've spoke about before called Chinese Face Reading.
Chinese face reading?
Chinese Face Reading.
I don't remember you talking about Chinese face reading.
I think I have. And the different shape faces and different things.
Well, there definitely is a lot to be said about your
Yes.
facial shape.
Yeah, it's called face reading.
Yeah.
People do it.
Yeah.
And
in fact, we also at the salon do something with the shape of your face. We style your hair to complement it.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do with someone with a short, fat face and a pig nose?
Cook them up, and we have pork. Because isn't that what Tony does with when you have a party?
He always
makes
always roasts me a little short,
Delicious
little fat,
piggy,
juicy pig.
a little pork whack.
So you get high?
Huh? Stop it.
Thanks to a new study published in the Archives of Sexual Behavior, it was found that a lot of people actually enjoy indulging in a couple of drinks or even a hit or two of pot before hooking up.
Hey, okay.
And if you remember, we did a segment on marijuana
Yes.
a few years ago called Sex Pot.
Yes.
And-
Yes, I remember that.
And we also know that a drink or two is a powerful aphrodisiac.
Exactly.
We've talked about that on our
Yes,
TV show, The Aphrodisiac Chefs.
That is the truth. And in this study, researchers conducted an in-depth interview with 24 participants from New York City and asked them about their experiences with alcohol and marijuana during sex. And it was found that most participants reported feeling a lot sexier,
Yeah.
a lot more attractive, and just a lot more open when they're under the influence. But it was more common for people to feel, foxy after a couple of drinks instead of, smoking
Yeah.
the marijuana,
Participants said both substances affected their choice of sexual partners. But people said that alcohol tended to have a more negative effect on their partner selection.
Really?
Yeah. When people were drunk, they were more likely to have sex with strangers and probably wouldn't hook up with. What do they call that?
The old beer goggles effect.
Beer goggles, that's what it is. People look better than they really
Yeah.
do. And just the opposite. When people were high smoking a little marijuana, they tended to have sex with people they already knew.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, imagine that the difference in partner selection is probably a function of the fact that people tend to use alcohol and marijuana in very different settings.
Yeah.
Alcohol is more often consumed in, a bar or a club. And let's face it, marijuana is really in your home, private parties, it's not legal.
So that
is probably
answers-
why.
Yeah, yeah.
You're there. So anyway, that said,
you're not going to be smoking marijuana in public. And,
well, it's not legal. You're going to go to jail. So, like I said, that said, alcohol is used to link with more regrets the morning after. Whereas marijuana, hey, you've been there, done that. The study also found that drunk sex was linked to more impairments during sex. Such as, I don't know.
ED?
A little bit, and I didn't want to say that, and falling asleep during sex. And probably, if you recall, we just had that little segment about issues in the shower. I imagine that you can hurt yourself in the shower with that.
Yeah. You know, weed was also associated with negative effects also, but in a different way. You know, you might be paranoid or anxious.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I
Don't drink, don't smoke. What do you do?
nothing, and I don't date smokers anymore. You know.
You don't date.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm talking about, you know, the concept for the show. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why I don't date smokers.
Why?
Well, some smokers that I've dated in the past, you know, they typically would have a cigarette after sex, you know, and they'd get up right after, go out on the balcony and have a cigarette, you know, and it's like there was like no cuddle time, you know, but
Aww. No cuddling for him.
But I actually stopped dating smokers altogether when one gal used to have a cigarette during us having sex.
Yeah, I can understand where you would definitely want to get rid of her.
Well, nonetheless, the positives of sex when you're messed up far outweigh the negatives anyway.
I think, you know, but I am curious about what you guys think. What feels better to you? Being stoned or being drunk when you're having sex? And I want
Stoned
you
sex or drunk sex?
Yeah, I want you to email us now at trendradio920@gmail.com. Give us your information. Personally, we think they're both awesome. I guess it would just depend on your personal preference.
That's right.
But give us what you think, and we will give you a $50 gift certificate to Anthony Vincent Salon.
That's right. If you like that sloppy, messy...
Really fun.
Yeah, that'd be the drunk sex.
Yeah. Taking a quick break. Trend Radio continues after this on 920 The Jersey.
We'd like to thank Artists, where senior residents are encouraged to do what helps them feel fulfilled and content, offering spacious living areas designed for social and emotional connections, with safety always at the forefront. You've been listening to Trend Radio, where we talk about what's hot every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Do you want more? Go right to our website, 920thejersey.com, click on demand, and scroll directly to us.
And get the lowdown on getting down. Tune into your bad boy inside you.
Or your bad girl.
Listen each week. We always have something sexy to say. Got questions? Email us now at trendradio920@gmail.com. You'll be glad you did.
And remember, your smile is your logo, your personality is your business card.
But how you make people feel, well, that becomes your trademark.
I'm Anthony Vincent.
And I'm Elise.
And we'll talk to you next week.
Bye for now.
Oh, and don't forget, tune in tomorrow evening, 7:30 p.m., PrincetonTV.org, and watch us, the Aphrodisiac Chefs. We cook with love.
You'll be glad you did.